Welcome to Conversations. I am Suresh Kochattil. The closure of roads in any city is a problem for the citizens, more so in cantonments across the country. One of the largest cantonments in the country, Secunderabad, has been facing this issue from quite a long time, from the time that the Britishers left till recently and even now. At the core of the issue is the blocking of some of the roads by the army, closing them for some logical reasons, some illogical reasons. To fight all this, the citizens of the areas surrounding the Secunderabad Cantonment, that is basically the cantonment area where the army is right now, which is Secunderabad, are colonies like Malkajgiri, Safalguda, Yapral, Bolaram, Sainikpuri, Vayupuri, and you come this side of it, Trimalgiri, and everybody is facing this issue of the closure of roads by the army. What started initially in a small way has today become a big issue. So much so that it can upset the electoral fortunes of either of the political parties that are in the fray in the state, and especially in constituencies like Malkajgiri, Secunderabad Cantonment, and of course the Secunderabad Lok Sabha seat as such. To discuss this and more, I have with me two very eminent individuals. Sri T.S. Chandrasekhar, Secretary of the Northeastern Colonies of Secunderabad, or what is called the Green Sainikpuri, and also Mr. B.T. Srinivasan, a familiar face of the General Secretary of the United Federation of Resident Welfare Associations, and of course he is a national role also in terms of being a part of various Resident Welfare Association conferences, that I think one of which is going to happen in Chennai in a few days' time. To discuss this, I would specifically ask an opening round of comments from both Mr. Chandrasekhar and Mr. Srinivasan. At the core of the issue, Mr. Chandrasekhar and Mr. Srinivasan, is the closure of roads. Now let's look back at the history of Secunderabad Cantonment and understand where this issue started from basically. What are the crux of this issue, Mr. Chandrasekhar?
Sir, this all started in late 2014 when they initially said we are going to close the roads for maintenance, and then later they started giving the passes to the citizens, and then they said we are going to close few roads. That is when people protested. They went to the courts. The first order was in favor of citizens, and then later they issued a sealed cover to the Honorable High Court, and it was in favor of them. But this was the past. In 2015, 7th January 2015, Ministry of Defence, Mr. Manohar Parrikar, Raksha Mantri, then Raksha Mantri, who was part of this High Court proceedings as well, has issued an order based on the hue and cry of the civilians part of the affected areas. He said, it was just a 2 pages letter. He said, Section 258 of Cantonment Act is must. Local military authorities do not have a statutory authority in closing public roads. In case if they have to close, they have to follow Section 258, which was till date not been addressed into the board, and it was not followed. Subsequently, in 2018, Army Headquarters had issued an orders to reopen all these roads, who too are part of the High Court proceedings and order. They are very well aware of it. So, and SOP was issued by Raksha Mantri, Ministry of Defence, which was till date not being followed. Many more roads are closed. Subsequently, then CEO Mr. SVR Chandrasekhar Garu had given a written status quo report of list of roads closed by army without following the procedures. Even that is there. The Principal Director General Defence Estates very well knows about it, and we thank Nirmala Sitharaman Garu, who has actually was responsible for giving the SOP and the order. In 2018, she called a meeting with all the 62 cantonment MPs and vice presidents in Delhi, wherein the parties, it was not with one regard to one party. There were Congress, there were BJP, there were various other parties, MPs were present. They all, it was one voice. The road closure is inconveniencing the civilians. So subsequently these orders had come, and till date those orders are not been implemented. Now what we see a few days back, about 20 to 25 days back, they have issued a notice saying that 6 roads are going to be closed. But these roads are already closed, and they don't mention any sections as per which they are closing. So we call it illegal. So these things are there. So public have been protesting to reopen the roads. And I tell you, when we started in 2015, the struggle, people didn't know what was a cantonment road. Whenever media also, when they addressed cantonment roads, they said AOC roads, golf roads. It took 8 years for us to communicate to the entire civilians and the media that these are not AOC, just AOC roads. AOC roads becomes a part of cantonment. We call it cantonment roads. So please call it cantonment.
Mr. Chandrasekhar rightly put his entire point up front about the judgment and the later part of it. But as somebody who has a national role, you go across and speak at various forums and all that. When those meetings of various cantonment boards and MPs and others were called, obviously, does the same problem exist in other cities or other cantonments, or is it only in Secunderabad Cantonment that we have an issue like this, where the army, the local military authorities refuse to follow the orders of the Raksha Mantri, which is very, very odd, which is actually, which would invite a general court martial in any case, because you cannot kind of ignore the directions given by a Raksha Mantri of a country, and the local military authority cannot do that. If somebody had taken them to court for this particular purpose, I'm sure the LMA authorities would be in deep, deep trouble. So can you tell us what is the problem? Where is the issue about this cantonment road closure? Is it same across the country or only Secunderabad Cantonment?
No, it has happened everywhere and it is happening in all cantonments. For that case, Pune, and then again in other parts of India. But you said, the local military authority is not following MOD orders. I'll just give one example. When army, local army of our TASA, now you call it as, they said these roads, they listed some roads and they said they will close the roads in phased manner, and then they will close permanently these roads. So in these roads, we have mainly, they have given the names of AOC roads, that the roads which will crisscross at swimming pool of AOC. That is where we all involved protesting against this. We first went to Suresh Kochattil, then the MP, in 2014 February. We went to him and we explained what is the problem we are going to face and all that. Then he immediately called then the Raksha Mantri AK Antony in front of us, putting on speakerphone. Then Raksha Mantri that time, he said he can't do anything. Elections are coming. Military is more powerful than the ministry, defense ministry. That is what he said. We all heard that. He was saying in front of us. Then after a meeting, Suresh Kochattil, in the month of February itself, we called for a big protest at AOC, and then almost 1,000 people, including various RWS from Alwal, then Kapra, Yapral, then again Malkajgiri, other surrounding area people. We all assembled at Secunderabad, at the entrance of AOC near Saflugada gate, and we protested. And then we contacted governor, then the governor, Mr. Narasimhan. So he called us to his office. Then we had a long meeting with him. Before that, meeting Narasimhan, we formed a JAC, that is Joint Action Committee. We didn't want to struggle alone, civilian. It is not the problem of civilians. It is also problem of the people who are representing our constituencies, that is Malkajgiri, then again Secunderabad Cantonment. So we involved all these political parties, including Congress, then the BJP, other political parties in our struggle, and we asked them to depute someone from their parties who can give good time on this issue. So they had given one representative. So we formed a JAC. That JAC met the governor. Then Mr. Narasimhan, he asked us to wait for a week. Then he called then the AOC commandant, Mr. Brigadier Mr. Dalip Singh, and the GOC. He called them to the governor's office. Then he had a clear discussion with them, and then he given some relief to us that time. Then later elections, parliament elections were held, and then Mr. Mallareddy became the member of parliament that time. Then we approached him, we took his help, and then Mr. Ramchandra Rao from BJP, he was the MLC that time. Then Sayana Garu. We took a team to Delhi, met the defense minister Manohar Parrikar.
In fact, I think I was a part of the delegation also, which met Mr. Manohar Parrikar then.
And then, he without any problem, he had a clear-cut instructions he had given to the local army to immediately remove all the restrictions in AOC. That happened in the month of December of 2014. So that was the next day was the New Year. So we all celebrated. But later on, the judgment.
That's where I'm coming to Ms. Chandrasekhar actually. Ms. Chandrasekhar, this judgment, the then Andhra Pradesh High Court and later on I think the Telangana High Court, there was a lot of confusion about the judgment. One thing I know as a journalist, as somebody who didn't see the sealed envelope, but I was told that there was a security threat of a set of people from a certain area, I won't even take the name of the area now, down that road near ECIL. From there, army says there is a security threat because those people can pass through these areas. But as somebody who has analyzed this entire thing, I was also told that there is no strategic unit of the army in Secunderabad. If it is there, it is on the other side at Golconda, where they have an artillery center.
And
but this is more of a training center. The army units in Secunderabad are more of a training center. Of course, there are some sensitive, very, very secretive units in northern Secunderabad. We will not get into that because that is a national security issue. We will not discuss that here. But when you're talking of this kind of judgment that happened, was there some kind of follow-up of that original two judgment, or that was entire thing was closed there?
Sir, to begin with, what has happened in the judgment or the High Court proceedings, there were two things which is very glaringly being adversely affected the road closure is affidavits issued by local military authorities and the CEO then Sujata Gupta Garu. On oath, they gave a wrong affidavits saying that these are all A1 roads and public do not have a right of way.
So let me cut you here, sorry, to explain to a layman, what is an A1 road?
See, basically, Secunderabad Cantonment has 29 roads. Roads are given separate survey numbers. Subsequently after this, we've been digging up RTIs. So we got an RTI saying that all the 21 roads are be given separate survey numbers. Like for example, Lakadawala Gate, they said this is A1 road. A1 is basically maintained by MES. C category is maintained by cantonment. It's like RNB is maintaining, GHMC is maintaining and HMDA is maintaining. But as a commuter, we really don't have to know who's maintaining it because public have a right of way. Similarly, in Secunderabad Cantonment also, it is the same thing. The fact remains the same, which they've given a wrong affidavit in the court saying that these are all our military lands. These are all military. Military land is, A1 road is different, A1 land is different. Why I say that? Because see, 778 is the number given to cantonment A1 lands. 779 is being given for A1 cantonment C category lands. Why is that being given? Because roads on which public have a right of way, the separate survey number is given, and surrounding holdings are different survey numbers. Just to make sure that these are the ownership rights for maintenance are with MES, and the roadsides, the footpaths and all again are C. Even on A category roads, the footpaths and all are maintained by C cantonment. So in their affidavits, because they have given a wrong affidavit saying that these are all A1 roads where public do not have a right of way, these adversely affected the court judgment. So and subsequently, Raksha Mantri and Ministry of Defence were part of this entire judgment process. They have issued an order superseding the Honorable High Court's judgment. The CEOs and the entire cantonment officials, even the legal experts do say that. We have got the highest orders, highest authorities have given an order subsequently to that. So High Court orders are no more in place. I tell you, because Ministry of Defence has given, who are part of this judgment again, and Army headquarters had given an issue orders to reopen. They themselves have given, CDS Bipin Rawat Garu has given an orders in 2018 saying that local military authorities do not have a right of closing the roads, reopen. And even if you have to close, you follow the section 258. What is section 258? It is a procedure given under prescribed under the law, which was till date not been followed. And see, we are talking about AOC roads. The closed roads till date are in Yapral, which was hidden by Army purposefully. They kept the focuses on AOC road and Goff road and every time they issue an order saying that we are having a closure of AOC road, people have a hue and cry, and subsequently we had a closure in Yapral. I tell you, there are 21 roads which are being closed in Yapral and Bolaram. Not a single one closed in AOC and Goff road. They had a night restrictions because of a struggle from 2015. 2018 when the orders had come, the first thing they did was remove the night restrictions. That was the best thing happened. Because of our struggle, AOC has been benefited. But Yapral and Bolaram, it is still struggling. There are 5 walls which are built over the roads. Lakadawala, Burr Road, Ammuguda, and RA Lanes, and Amston Road. And there is one road which owned by GHMC, there are RK-puram underpass, service road, which is owned by GHMC. Even there they have walled either sides and they blocked the service road. The reason we have so much of traffic on RK-puram road. So this needs to be taken sternly by army headquarters. A disciplinary action should be taken against the local military authorities. High Court orders do not comply at present scenario because we have subsequent orders from the highest authorities which has superseded the High Court orders.
Basically, they modified the land usage and they clarified what the land was all about, isn't it?
Correct, correct.
Mr. Srinivasan, AOC fountain, that particular area where there are 4 tanks, including one Pakistani tank which was captured in the 71 war. Very busy area. And the recent rains, we saw the entire roads approaching from the Maradpalli side totally damaged. Very narrow roads. There's plenty of scope for expansion on both sides, but either the cantonment board is not bothered or whoever is maintaining those roads are not bothered. As Mr. Chandrasekhar was maintaining, is it military engineering services or cantonment? There is always this confusion. But that particular road is, I think, one of the busiest roads in Secunderabad area. I remember there was some survey done by the traffic police, Hyderabad traffic police, and I think the other authorities. What was kind of results of that study?
In 2015, when we approached the CM, Sri Chandrasekhar Rao Garu, and then again the Somesh Kumar, he was the Commissioner of GHMC, he called local police authority and the R&B authorities. They did a survey at that AOC particular fountain, you call it as AOC swimming pool junction, we call it as. That was done, the survey was done in 2015, and they found that on a working day, any given working day, 325,000 vehicles crisscrossing that particular crossroads.
So let me put this in perspective. That crossroad, the AOC crossroad, where that fountain is right now there is traffic coming from Maradpalli, which is basically the traffic coming from the Secunderabad side, which mostly goes towards Safalguda railway gate and onward. There is a bit of traffic that goes straight towards the military hospital and further towards Yapral and RK-puram and Yapral. There is some traffic coming from Secunderabad club, which is pretty heavy actually, again coming from Secunderabad side going towards Safalguda. There is also some traffic which comes from both this sides, Safalguda and Yapral, going towards Maradpalli. Now, these are the 4 junctions. Why is it that despite this heavy traffic, authorities frequently closed down that road, especially during August 15th, the week preceding August 15th or January 26th, and they close it down, not even allowing school buses to go early in the morning. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's true. It is happening from 2014. So it was taken up by local police also. They said we will depute local, our own security for traffic management and all that. But local military authority, they have not allowed traffic police inside AOC or any other part of the cantonment where civilians are using army roads. So that is happening from the beginning. They are not allowing the local authority, civic authority or the police authority to enter into their areas.
So, Chandrasekhar, there was this long-term solution that was spoken about.
Sir, I'll tell you, topography of this entire cantonment. Cantonment is basically in a form of a letter J. It starts from Hakimpet till Maradpalli, it goes towards Begumpet. It's a very thin strip of landmass which is dividing east and north. So, when you look at east to west, it is just a half a kilometer to kilometer stretch.
Okay.
But when you look at the closure of roads, the junk of closure of roads are towards the northeast, which is Yapral and Bolaram. And there used to be 8 connecting roads from Rajiv Rahadari to Kisara. Right now, what do we have? We only have one, which is RK-puram. The reason why you see so much of traffic throughout the night, even at 2 o'clock at night at Tirmalgiri, you have to wait for 3-4 signals.
Correct.
The reason is that earlier we used to have a crisscross from Rajiv Rahadari to Kisara, but now the entire roads are being shut. So the only solution for the cantonment would be to reopen the roads rather than having one road compromising the entire roads. So the orders also say the same thing. And 2018, when the orders have been issued, it said reopen all the roads. It didn't say that you have a High Court order, you have a provision of an alternate road. So we citizens of Secunderabad strongly condemn the solution-based alternate road for one region and foregoing the entire northeastern part of city. Because I tell you, there is another issue here. If you look at when I just heard you saying that the roads are narrow, the roads are badly damaged. Which are the roads which are narrow? I tell you, Gough Road is narrow, which is 12 feet.
Correct.
Roberts Road is 12 feet. The the road which is going, Entrenchment Road is 18 feet. And roads which are damaged are the ones which are used by civilians.
Correct.
You go to Krishna Rao Marg, they're maintained on 7-star facilities. You go to Mornington Road, where people were not allowed in the recent times, but now they have reopened. You have 7-star facilities, I tell you, sir. There are street lights. Do you believe that All Saint Road, which is the only connecting road from the northeast to the Sainik Puri, ECL, Kapra, doesn't have a single street light? In today's time, where people are talking about electricity reaching the rural areas, we in city Secunderabad is supposed to be part of the capital city. Why there is no single street light?
So this is basically the road from Trimalgiri Crossroad. Actually, it starts from Bovenpalli Market and goes from Trimalgiri Crossroad, goes to RK Puram, carries on to ECL.
Till RK Puram, the roads are so narrow. Subsequently, when you go to GHMC, those are all 100, 200 feet roads. But Secunderabad Cantonment's roads are still 12 feet. Why aren't they being widening? I heard Mr. Ramakrishna in one of the seminars in Secunderabad, where he mentioned that the work orders were issued for widening of Gough Road to 100 feet. But local military authorities have given a 1000-page, corrigendum or objection, in which one of the objection raised by the local military authorities and the commander was, our evening tea will be affected because of the traffic.
Our evening?
Evening tea will be affected. We will be disturbed having our evening tea and morning walks. Do you believe that Secunderabad Cantonment civilians are not allowed on Mornington roads, Willington roads, even till date? The entire cantonment roads, morning walkers and evening walkers are not allowed. Under what rule? Do they have an authority to close, not allowed? If you are not dressed well, you are not allowed. If you are going on a cycle, you are not allowed. These are all happening in Yapral, sir. AOC roads are all open. Let us talk about Yapral and Bolaram, because those are the areas which is badly affected. You know, Valerian Grammar School, which had 4,000 people, students studying in that.
Correct.
Right now, this is 250 students. And father is crying, saying that we are not allowed. Now they have put up a board saying that we will close the balance, which was entry road also. St. Anne's, Bolaram, Holy Trinity Church, place of worship is not allowed.
Yeah, I think in the entire golf club area, if I am not mistaken, I remember going back to old historical records which were shown during one of those meetings we had with Mr. Manohar Parikar. There was a check post somewhere near that area. I think the road comes from Lakdawala and goes towards where Winston Churchill used to stay.
There is a reason, I tell you, sir. Why was the check post 18th century maps we have with us, 19th century maps we have with us, wherein it was prepared by the British government, where it showed check posts at golf courses, Lakdawala Gate and Burr Road. There were check posts. Why was the check post placed there? Because the farmers, the produce was towards Yapral, Bolaram, Malkajgiri, they're all agricultural lands. And on the western side, you have Bazaar, Risala Bazaar, Docton Bazaar, all these bazaars were there. So people used to get their produce and sell it here.
Sadar Bazaar, all that kind of
Sadar Bazaar and all this.
Yeah, Mr. Srinivasan, the most important thing is political thing, because you are involved in a lot of this protest and other things. K.T. Ramarao at one time got angry about this closure of roads and said, I will cut off electricity and water to the army, which is technically not feasible or logically not done. But do you think there is this political battle also going on, because everyone who solves this problem will get the credit. So nobody wants the other party to get the credit. In between, the civilians are caught because of the closure road. Children who go to school, as I said, Valerian Grammar School is a classic example of it. You take other schools, or the children going towards Maradpalli, towards St. Anne's, children coming towards ECL Crossroad, going to Trimalgiri, everybody, Holy Family, you name the schools, everybody is getting impacted by the entire closure of roads. Do you think there has to be a political solution to this? Because you talked about all the MLAs, MPs, but I don't see a solution there. Local military authorities care a damn for what the Raksha Mantri says. He might be the Raksha Mantri of the country, but I don't take orders from him, which is very, very strange. But at the same time, you are talking of something in terms of the political thing, which I remember you organized protest, you got all those things done before the elections, but after elections everybody forgets those promises.
No, it's not that way. We involved our urban minister, state, municipal minister KTR in our meetings also. In fact, when Parekar visited, Secunderabad military area, he did survey on, different roads what all closed and what they proposed to close, along with KTR. So they both sat together and they had discussions in the AOC. There is one meeting held between army authorities, local authorities, and then the state government and the union minister, defense minister. But solution, what could be the solution? So only solution is opening up all the roads. Okay. So Mr. Chandrasekhar says, one area getting benefited doesn't help the others.
It is
so. No, I agree with him on that point also. But I tend to give you the chance to rebut that argument.
Yeah. Basically, when Navin Rao's judgment came, he never asked army to find a solution. He asked local civilian authorities to, civic authorities, that is GSMC, to find solution to this problem. Then there also he mentioned there should be civilian movement without any problem. So military authority and the local GHMC, they sat together, they did surveys, then they engaged one company who did the physical survey of the lands, and then they are given some rough road.
I think I remember that rough road plan, and Mr. Chandrasekhar is right. It basically starts somewhere near Maradpalli, goes through Mahendra Hills, towards the back of Safalguda and all that.
Then and there we opposed that.
Yeah, because it's not scientific.
And then it is not easy also. It is not easy also.
Yeah, I have a strong objection to the discussion about a High Court order. B.T. Srinivas Garu, you are a secretary for a larger umbrella forum which is fighting for it. Let us discuss about a permanent solution. What is permanent solution? Following the orders issued by in 2018 by Army Headquarters. What did the Army Headquarters issue an order?
Sir,
I'll give you. Let me complete. Let me complete, sir. Let me complete.
Let me then I'll come back to you.
Let me complete. Army Headquarters nunchi orders em vachayi. They said reopen all the roads. Local military authorities do not have a public right to close public roads. And SOP was issued, standard of operation, standard procedural operation issued by Raksha Mantri. What did the procedure say? You go to the board, in case the roads have to be closed, it has to be closed only for the security reason. Fine. There is no other purpose. I am getting disturbed for the tea, you cannot close. The traffic is increasing, you cannot close. The only reason is security reasons. Fine. You go approach to the cantonment board saying that these are the roads I am planning to close, and close it as per the, what should board do? They should convene a bidding, and resolution by the board has to be
So
done.
I'll come to
I tell you, sir, just one other one. In 2014 also, when they took a decision of closing a road, it was a varied board. There was no elected representatives in the cantonment board. Even now, when they have issued the notices few days back, it is a varied board. Is it ethical, moral, legal for the local military authorities and cantonment to issue a notice when there is no board? I tell you, when there is no elected representatives in India, can India go with war with somebody? No. It is as simple as that. Local military authorities are taking policy matters which is impacting the entire region without any democratic board being there. So let us discuss on the permanent solution, which is 2018 orders are issued by Army Headquarters, not by the civilian authorities. High Court orders are superseded. Let us forget that.
Let's go to Srinivasan now. Mr. Srinivasan, the political argument, as you rightly said, that we need to look at the solution. And as Mr. Chandrasekhar said, the bigger solution is that. Where do we, because we have been talking this from 2014, we are in 2022 now. Okay. 8 years have passed, nothing has actually happened on the ground, nothing has happened. A few roads have been opened, that's it. But the people of Secunderabad seem to be a children of lesser God. They are not as fortunate as Gachibowli or Jubilee Hills or Madhapur or the Tellapur and all those new areas which are coming up, Kondapur and all that. We are a children of lesser God. Secunderabad was always a residential area, the British time onwards. The British stayed in this part of the town. They told the Nizam, don't come beyond Musi. My question to you is, as a president of so many resident welfare associations representing so many people, and we had meetings regarding that also in Malkajgiri, I remember attending those meetings there. The solution, is it merging GHMC and Secunderabad Cantonment Board the solution for you? Is that the long term? Because that is mostly on civic issues. You're not talking of roads there. But does that actually solve the problem?
That that may not be a solution, because now we are feared that once the outer part of this units, if they merge with GHMC, they may barricade everything. The army area may be barricaded and they will not allow even a fly get into army area, because when this particular movement started in 2014, when they stopped us going from Malkajgiri to Secunderabad on the roads what we are using since ages, that is AOC, through AOC, because we don't have, we very closely stay the roads which they
that
are allowed.
Is the argument with Mr. Chandrasekhar has, because I mean, for me personally, we are talking of somebody from the Yapral side, from the Alwal side, from the Bolaram side. We suffer a lot because we have to take a 3.5-4 kilometer detour. It happened to me yesterday. I was going past the President's Palace, which is the Rashtrapati Nilayam, onto the road to RSI, and I was stopped by an army security guy. I asked him why. He said, order hai. That road belongs to the President of India, the President's estate, which again is a different story, which I'll come back to you on. When the land belongs to the President's estate and that road belongs to the President's estate, gate number 6 or gate number 3, how is the security of the Indian Army stopping people from using that road? If it is somebody who should have stopped, it should have been the President's bodyguard or any local police official. But it is very, very strange, because when the President comes, all those roads are handed over to the city police. But till then, the army guys are there to take care of it. No doubt the army has its own security issue. They have their own security threats. We saw what happened in Uri and we saw what happened in other places before. But there has to be a solution. That's what I'm trying to come to. I wish Mr. Ramakrishna was here in the studio today. I should actually called him also, but I'll call him on another day. And I'm possibly will get both of you back again here, because we have to pin down solution. Mr. Ramakrishna, the pleasant Secunderabad Cantonment Board, only member of the Secunderabad Cantonment Board, cannot take decisions. The CEO cannot take decision. The Defence Estate Pune is the one holding the key. The MOD holds the key. The local military authorities hold the key. So my question to you is, where is the solution now? Because we are talking of AOC, but there is a bigger chunk of population staying on the other side, towards the Hakimpet side.
Absolutely.
The people who want to go through that church, which Queen Victoria built with her own purse, Holy Trinity Church, they cannot even go past it. St. Anne's School children find it extremely difficult to go to school because the entire road has been barricaded. The Lakdawala had a gate there from centuries. That gate has become a compound wall today. God knows why.
Sir, few things to supplement what you said regarding the schools. In 2018, Villayan Grammar School went to change.org seeking Raksha Mantri's intervention to reopen the roads. Can you believe? In 24 hours, there were a support of 4,800 people supported. Immediately, the local military authorities reached out to Villayan Grammar School father, and then he had to shut it down. That was the saddest state which is prevailing in Secunderabad Cantonment. We should discuss regarding Yapral and Bolaram, because the main chunk of roads where the notices are issued are there. AOC is not closed.
That is a question I had.
And I tell you, when you were mentioning about Rashtrapati Nilayam. Rashtrapati Nilayam is a state government owned land. I mean, okay, it's now under central government, but roads around that, including Lakdawala Gate, is C category road, which they claimed as to be even military land. And whenever there is Rashtrapati coming in here, the entire city police is their position. And every inch of land in Secunderabad and Hyderabad falls under city police, not under military police. So they are responsible. Even in the affidavits issued in High Court judgment, city police has given an affidavit saying that we are responsible. If there is a security threat, even police should be involved into it. And police are very well aware of what is happening here, sir. And I think what is happening is not right.
We had a larger discussion, I remember, somewhere in Malkajgiri on this issue, where we called all big, I think it was one of the newspapers which organized this meeting, one of the media houses. But my point to you, I'm coming back to the same thing, Mr. Srinivasan, is I know that the solution is not there on the table yet. The solution is simple, is open up the roads, open up the high traffic roads, widen it, so that the load can be taken. 3.5 lakh vehicles crisscrossing AOC gate is not a joke. It is a huge chunk of traffic. But what is being done about it is very sad, especially the road in front of the Thapa Stadium coming from Maratpalli is in a terrible shape. Even an army tank can't go through it. It is that bad. And I've seen people falling. Just day first I saw a couple fall off the scooter. It is such a bad state. So my point is, when you as a representative of the resident welfare associations, recently you had a petition, I think it closed yesterday or day for yesterday, where you are supposed to file objections. What is the situation on that, sir?
Basically all the objections from various RWAs and then again individuals submitted, and then they are going to scrutinize, the board is going to scrutinize, but they are all against closure of the roads. You are every time asking what is the solution. Solution is very simple. They have to reopen the roads, all following the military authority, defense ministry orders, MOD orders, Ministry of Defense. So in 2018, when Nirmala Sitharaman was the defense minister, she had a meeting with us at Delhi. Then she called GHMC Commissioner Janardhan Reddy Garu and others. So she had a table of information, like she had the information about what are the traffic condition at various places, after the restrictions and before the restrictions. So she had all the data, and then the orders were issued. So before issuing that orders, she said what are the main roads which are closed at present, and then again what you want them to be keep open forever, she asked us. Then we have given most of the roads which are closed in Apral side and then the Alwal side. Around 11 road names we had given to her. So she issued a uniform order saying that open all the roads. If at all they want to close the roads, they have to follow the Cantonment Act procedure and then close the road. That is what they said.
So that's good. Mr. Chandrasekhar, yeah, sorry, you had something.
Orders were not issued by Ministry of Defence, sir. Orders to reopen were issued by Army Headquarters.
That is the direct supervisory authorities of the LMA.
From Raksha Mantri, SOP was issued. Standard operating procedures were issued for closure of roads.
I think that exists across cantonments, isn't it?
It is across 62 cantonments, including ours. I tell you, sir, protest, I'm telling you, since 2015 till 2022, almost every day Green Sainik Puri is been protesting on it. There were 7 candlelight marches which happened on Yapral and Bolaram, and none of the political parties have supported all these days. You call it about JSE.
They'll come here before elections.
They only come up before the elections. We really don't, it really doesn't matter. Today, if the favorable orders from Raksha Mantri has come because of the protest in Yapral and Bolaram, no other part of the city has protested for us. We had to get onto the roads because we were sidelined by rest of the parties and people staying in the other part of the city who were only interested in their road. But it should be a larger perspective for the Secunderabad where all the roads should be reopened.
We are, as I said, come back to the same point. We are children of a lesser God. We are not as fortunate as people of West Hyderabad are, in terms of their huge roads, flyovers, you name it. There's no flyover at Trimalgiri Crossroad. Can you beat it? That road has the maximum traffic intensities. The CM travels on that road, yet the road is not widened. There's no flyover, nothing happening there. Anyway, that's for a separate discussion. But as we close this discussion, Mr. Srinivasan, my point is the struggle, as I said before, has been not just 2014. I remember the struggle started long before that, but people didn't react to it. Roads were slowly closed. It was like killing a frog in hot water, If you put a frog into hot water, it will jump out. But if you slowly put a frog in a cold water and increase the heat slowly, it will die a natural death. And that's exactly what happened. Close one road, close the second road, close the third road, close the fourth road, see how people react to it. The solution at one time was that move all the army establishments out of Secunderabad. But I think that is also not the right way, because there is a bit of green space which the army maintains beautifully. They maintain it. They have the manpower to maintain it. But at the same time, there has to be a trade-off. There has to be 1 or 2 or 3 main arterial roads which have to be kept open. Be it Maratpalli to Yapral, be it from from Secunderabad Club to RK Puram, the entire thing has to be kept open. 24/7, double the size of whatever, as Ms. Chandrasekhar was saying, increase the size. So as a closing comments from you, I would like to know, as the representative of the General Secretary of the Federation of Resident Welfare Associations, how do you propose that you will increase the level of pressure on the LMAs and other authorities?
At present, we are approaching both the Ministry of Defence and then again local military authorities, the state government also, because state government is also one of the party. At one point of time, Minister of Defence said, I'll give part of the existing land, roads where army is having, they're calling their rights. We'll give that area. You develop the roads on that. But state government has not come forward to do it. That is the case with AOC roads, and in even near Balaji Nagar, that also they want to connect one road. They want to give, the one place connecting to the Rajiv Rahdari. But state government has to take up initiation and then do it.
I remember the firing range issue also. They want to shift the firing range and said, we'll give you land in Vikarabad.
Yes.
Which the army didn't want to take it up.
No, even for MMTS, they want to connect from Maulali to High-Tech City through Neredmet and other areas. It goes to army area. They had problem. Then we went to the Minister of Defence, and then we got them to write to the railway authorities.
I think near Suchitra there's a station that has come up now.
Yeah, not only Suchitra, there are Bhudevi Nagar and all that. Yeah. So that sanction has come, and then railways, they have done their part of it. So wherever a development activity, urban structure, urban infrastructure, definitely army areas, they have to cooperate with state government. State government has to extend the support to them to have a better infrastructure. That is the solution.
Mr. Chandrasekhar, as we close the comment, I know you're very, very upset about the entire thing. You get really worked up when you talk about this, because having seen this kind of injustice being done to the citizens, and it's not a small few thousand people crossing a road, it is 3.5 lakh vehicles crossing a particular section from where it gets subdivided further. It's an urban jungle. I mean, let us admit it. Traffic will only increase, it won't decrease in any case. There is no MMTS connecting to say ECIL. There's no mass transit at all there. So there's no future in terms of developing anything on that side in terms of connecting except for roads. There's only solution is to increase the road width, maybe build a flyover here or a flyover there. But seeking your closing comments on this issue, where do you think we go from here?
Sir, last 21 days, ever since they've issued an orders, I've been, myself and few other volunteers, we've been visiting all the affected colonies around the Secunderabad Cantonment. In one voice, they've been telling that the roads have to be opened. It pains me when somebody is talking about state government not giving the land. Why do we talk about a land being given and go for a land, one road? Why don't you talk about reopening? As a federation head of the entire colonies, we should fight for reopening. We should not fight for one road or two roads. There are 29 roads, sir. By giving one road, the entire Secunderabad will be shut. Are we looking for it? It will be a black mark in the history, I'm telling you. We have to fight for reopening of roads. When army headquarters had issued an orders, why don't we both stand unitedly against opening that? Let us forget about any other thing, BT Srinivas Garu. Let us look only for reopening of roads as per the orders issued in 2018.
I think that is,
this should be the fan.
You misunderstand. We never said, give only this road. And secondly, in 2017
Sir,
time, please listen to me. Then I didn't interrupt.
1 minute,
I'll
sir.
tell you.
We'll just,
we are not against your argument.
It's not mine or yours.
Yeah,
it is our Secunderabad.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
Only.
Even I am there actually. I am a part of it.
I'll tell you. They wanted to make the existing army roads only wider and all that. But the expenses, they asked state government to, spend. That they have not come forward. That is what I am saying.
No. Mr. Chandrasekhar has a different take on it.
The nomenclature of what you are talking is wrong, sir. What is this army land? This is cantonment, sir. This is not a military station. Let us be very clear in nomenclature. This is a cantonment. There is a cantonment board.
Then when you protested last week or before a month or so, why you have not gone into the army, those roads and did that? Why you did outside?
Sir, we respect.
So now
let us not get into that, sir.
You
have to know this is not right. This is not done, sir. So are you trying to say that these are army roads?
We never given any letter asking for alternatives. Okay, we said. All the roads has to be
You just mentioned that state government is not coming forward.
Mr. Chandrasekhar,
it is not correct, sir.
Mr. Chandrasekhar, Mr. Srinivasan, I think as we close this discussion, I think one thing we need to understand is we have to stand united. Because
is precisely what I'm
the
saying,
problem is if you don't stand united like rest of India did not when the Mughals came and conquered us,
Absolutely.
when the British came and conquered us, they will look at our weakness that these people are split either on political lines or ideological lines or whatever be it. I think the main crux of it is not just you, Mr. Srinivasan or Mr. Chandrasekhar sitting in this room. There are thousands and lakhs of people, as Mr. Chandrasekhar was explaining and as you said, who actually are impacted but can't come into a studio like this and speak for various reasons or even come out on the road and protest.
Absolutely.
Okay, there are many reasons for that. But I think at the end of the day, there has to be a solution found. Be it K.T. Ramarao, be it Rajnath Singh, be it anybody for that matter, the local military authorities, somebody has to sit across the table. This is an issue that is not a major issue of a land issue. When you can have a land going into Pakistan and build a road into that particular Gurudwara there, Kartarpur Gurudwara, which Government of India did, why is it that we are not able to sort out a problem in our backyard? Which is what I fail to understand. We are not here as India and Pakistan. It's the Indian Army area, definitely. There is up to the north, I mean, the Air Force area is there, the Hakimpet Air Force Base is there. Everywhere it is there, there's no such issue. That land is something with them from generations there. So the problem is because of the growing population of the twin cities, of Secunderabad especially, which is the twin city of Hyderabad, the urban agglomeration is increasing and the traffic towards the east of Hyderabad is increasing. Previously, I remember when I was a kid, there was nothing beyond Bolaram. There was nothing beyond Bolaram. But today you look at it, you look at Shamirpet, it's growing, Turkapalli, it is growing, everywhere it's growing.
Kumpalli.
On the other side, you go Pocharam. People never used to think of Pocharam. Those are villages, as was described. People used to get the produce from there. There were grape gardens in Yaparal. Where are those grape gardens gone? Nobody knows. But today, because of the urban agglomeration, each house has 2 cars, more vehicles. People are traveling, and I think this is what the main problem is. We will definitely arrive at a solution, and I'm sure we will have to expand this discussion because we will have to get more people in the studio. Maybe we'll do it in an open forum in Sainikpuri or Malkajgiri in the coming days. I'm sure, I promise you that. Get elected representative, get somebody from the defense ministry, get somebody from the political establishment in Delhi to sit and sort out this problem once and for all. That is my request. Ladies and gentlemen, the closure of roads of Secunderabad Cantonment is a very emotive issue. It is because one, it has actually impacted the lives of lakhs of people. People who used to take 10 minutes to reach a particular section of the city now take an hour to reach because they have to take various detours without knowing which road is closed or which road is open. That's a problem. It's not impacting just the school children going in the morning. It's impacting ambulances which go in the night. It is impacting people, elderly people who have to get cabs, even from other parts of the city. Uber and other cab drivers don't even come towards Secunderabad Cantonment because they think the roads are closed. That's a tragedy of it. But as these 2 gentlemen here, I should really thank them, Mr. Srinivasan and Mr. Chandrasekhar, for being in the studio. I know you have your differences, but I think we need to put those differences apart and definitely work towards finding a solution.
Work together to achieve the
I'm there, sir. I will hold both of you together, and I'm sure we'll get more people into the entire thing. There has to be a solution, and Nationalist Hub will be at the forefront of this particular finding a solution to the vexed issue of closure of roads in Secunderabad. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.
Please subscribe to Nationalist Hub English channel for more interesting videos, and don't forget to like and share this video. Nationalist Hub, it's a news revolution.